Hello, welcome to the first session on class 7's integers. That's being the first chapter we are taking. Let us understand integers. When I write, suppose -3, -2, -1, 0, then I continue with 1, 2, 3 and so on, right? This is a set actually. This is a set of integers. What does this comprise of? It comprises of whole numbers as well as negative of all the natural numbers. Whole numbers because I have 0 along with 1, 2, 3, they are the natural numbers. We also have the negatives of the natural numbers, that is 1, 2, 3, so on. Now these positive integers, like the one like +1, +2, +3, so on, they are referred to as the positive integers, and -1, -2, -3, and they are referred to as the negative integers. What about 0? 0 is neither positive nor negative. So this is a set of all the negative natural numbers, 0 or plus the all of whole numbers. They are referred to as the integers. Now, just for a kind of a sharing of you information, that's if you add any integer and it's negative, that means suppose I'm taking up 3. If you add 3 with any negative of the same integer, you will get a 0. Instead of writing +3, +2, +1, if we even write 1, 2, 3, the implied is plus. This 1, 2, 3 are actually carrying the positive symbol along with them. Now the next part is how do we represent these integers on a number line. How do we do so? Let me just mark it and then I explain. How do I draw? Let me use another color. This is, I'm trying to put up the equivalent distance between all of them. Might not be though. Just a second. Yeah, I got a 0 here, and rest of them on the right of the 0, I will be writing all the positive integers. That means the first starts with +1, +2, and then it goes on to -3 and so on. On the left, it is all the negative natural numbers, negative of all the natural numbers. So it is -1, then this is -2, this one is -3, and you continue on the right with all the positive natural numbers, and on the left you will be continuing with more on the negative of all the natural numbers, and 0 will be here. So you can remember, on the right of the 0 they're all positive integers, on the left of the 0 it's always the negative of the integers. Now next step is to learn how to find the predecessor and the successor. I will go on to the screen wherein I write. Here we are doing about the predecessor. Let me just notice if I have written it rightly. Yeah, this is a predecessor, and then we will learn about successor as well. How do we calculate predecessor? Predecessor means something which is before. So when a number is given, the predecessor of that given number will always be one number less than that, less than the given integer. This is 1 less than the given integer, and this is 1 more than the given integer, right? Suppose that means it is minus, this predecessor is to be calculated by subtracting -1, and successor on the opposite hand will be calculated by adding 1. So supposedly I'm given 5 and I'm asked to find the predecessor. He will be doing minus 1 equals 4. If I'm given 1, the predecessor will be 0. On the other hand, if I've given 5, the successor will be plus 1, that is 6. And 7 if given, or 7 if given, it will be 8. Okay, this you can always think of. If you just recall the number line, any number right to the digit or the integer itself will be the successor. Suppose I've given here 1, the successor will be 2, that is number on the right of it. If 2 is given, successor will be 3. On the other hand, suppose this is minus 1, the successor will be 0. The predecessor of minus 1 will be the number before, so it is on the left. So on the left of a given integer will be its predecessor, and the number after will be its successor. On the right will be its successor. That's the best way to remember. Now, based on this, you can actually tell which one is greater. I mean, if you are asked to compare the integers, like if you are asked to put up the less than, greater than, or equal to symbol, just in your mind, think of this number line. Any number to the left of the given integer will always be less, like minus 1 is less than 0, similarly minus 2 will be less than minus 1, and on the other hand, on the right of the given integer, they are all bigger numbers, like 1 is bigger than 0, 2 is bigger than 1, 3 is bigger than 2, so it becomes easier for you even to compare. And then comes absolute value of an integer. Whatever we are discussing, we will be taking up a few questions after a few topic discussions that will help us understand what we have discussed right there. Now, what is the absolute value of an integer? Absolute value, it refers actually to the numerical value. Absolute value of a given integer is always the numerical value irrespective of the sign which it carries, and the symbol is this. If I am given like this and within this a number integer is written, which is 5, so in absolute value of 5 will remain 5 because that is the numerical value of 5. So if had this been given as minus 5, the absolute value will also be 5 here, because the definition itself tells us that the absolute value of an integer is the numerical value of the integer. I can write it here for your convenience. It is referred, it becomes 3 R's. It is referred to as the numerical value of the given integer irrespective of its irrespective of its sign, or the sign it carries, that doesn't matter. You just have to be looking at the numerical value of the given integer. So if I'm writing any negative integer, that becomes 5 itself, and even the positive will have the same value. Then we learn about, before taking a few questions, I'll just be explaining addition and subtraction, and then in the next set of topics we will be discussing the product and the division. How do we add two given integers? See, when you are given to add two integers of like signs, that means if I am given plus 2 plus of another something which has also a positive sign, so this is adding integers of like signs. You simply add the absolute values. The absolute value of plus 2 is 2, the the absolute value of plus 3 is 3, so that makes it plus 5, or you can simply write 5. This is when you have integers with like signs. Because the common symbol here is plus, the answer can be written either as plus as well, or it is implied even if I simply write a 5. When you have two unlike integers, that means one, supposedly, I forgot to tell you, if you have like signs, you might just come across with two negative numbers as well. So if you have to add them, add the absolute value, that's the first step I said. So minus 5's absolute value is 5, this minus, or I can just take up another integer here, so that would make it maybe 7. So absolute values of both of them, if I add, I'm getting 12, but the sign here we had taken plus because the common sign in the first example was plus. Here the common sign is negative, so the answer also becomes negative. That means you can see, if you are adding two positive integer, your answer will also be positive. So the sum is positive if you add two positive integers. Here the sum is negative if you add two negative integers. Sum is negative if we add two negative integers. Now what happens if you have two unlike signs? That means if you are supposedly asked, like let me just write the example, maybe plus 8 is asked to be added to a negative of something, maybe 10. In that case, what do? Find the difference of their absolute values. The absolute value of 8 is 8, and the absolute value of 10 is minus 10 will be 10. So first you find the difference between the absolute values of the two given numbers. That becomes 2 because it is 10 minus 8. And place the sign of the integer which has the larger absolute value. The larger absolute value is of minus 10. So 10 carries a negative, which carries the greater absolute value. So the answer will also carry the negative sign. Okay, just to remember, you find the difference between the absolute values of these given integers and put the symbol which the greater integer carries. The greater integer means the integer which has greater absolute value, right? Here it is 10, so 10 was carrying negative, so I put it negative there, right? I can take up a few more examples on addition. Maybe we then move on to subtraction, like plus 3 plus 4. You have two similar signs with addition. You add the absolute value and the common symbol. You are supposedly given to add two negative symbols. Again you add the absolute values of 5 and 10, that's 15. The common symbol is minus 15. If I am given to add plus 5 with a negative of 13, then we said first find the difference between the absolute values, that is 8, and it will carry the sign which the higher absolute value carries. So it carries negative, here it will be negative. On the contrary, if you take another example, which supposedly this is minus 10 plus suppose 15 plus 15. Here also you follow the same thing. You will just be trying to find the difference between the absolute values of both the given integers. So it is 15 minus 10 is 5. but here 5 will carry a positive symbol because 15 has the higher or the greater absolute value. This is where we sorry, this is, yeah, it's okay. This is where we will just stop this session. In the next, maybe we can learn about the subtraction of integers, as well as take a few questions on the whole of the topic which we discussed in this first video. Thank you.